Nigerians will say, what of us? We too, we deserve for these prices of electricity to go down. We do hope that we get there someday, but at least for this one that has been done, we say, yes, that is good news. That is really, really, really good news. My name is Uche Okorie, and this is the newspaper review, which I will not be doing alone as usual. It's always a combo. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Omobolade Oladipo. You're welcome to newspaper review. I mean, your intro this morning is quite interesting, but I was going to say, I mean, at the end, you said what I was going to say. So we all need electricity, period. Well, it is fantastic that, I mean, some places are experiencing 50%.
That's huge.
That's huge. The hospitals, of course. I mean, the lifeline of the hospital is electricity.
True.
If they do not have electricity, they are owing so much money. If they have to struggle to get, I mean, you see what's happening with diesel and fuel at the moment. So imagine if people's lifeline was dependent on all of these things. So I think that is good because, I mean, at the hospital, it's a life and death situation.
Yeah.
And then the universities, we all went to a university, especially for those of us that went to a federal university or a state university or a polytechnic or any of these places. We all know how tough it is when there is no light at your apartment or at your hostel. It is a hustle. It is rough because you know that there is no water. Once there's no light, there's no water. Basic amenities are gone off the roof. In the middle of the night when you want to read, there is nothing for you, and you cannot go to class burning candles. No, that is prohibited. It makes no sense. It's prohibited. I mean, you don't even if you had flashlights, how are you going to charge it? I remember one time in uni because we used to have light. However, there was a problem with the transformer or the turbine or something, I don't know, but something was wrong with the power, and because of that, for about a week we had no light. So it meant, especially for those of us at the hostel, so it meant that we all had to be at a particular part of our lecture halls because they had to turn on a generator, but the generator cannot power the whole school. So it was just some parts in school that it had to leave generator on. You needed to see people bringing power banks, what's that thing called? Extension cords.
Extension connect.
Thank you. It was long. There was a crowd, and you also needed to watch your belongings because anybody that might not be a student might be around and steal your gadgets. It was crazy. So I think it's a good one. However, I mean, just casting my nets out there, just saying that I should try my luck and just put it out in the air. It'd be nice that this goes round to
everyone.
It'd be very nice because look, I can tell you for free, especially for those that now enjoy constant light that are in band A, the tariff is ridiculously high. Like, I live in an environment where we have light.
Honestly, man.
We have lights. Like,
I know how it is. I know how it is.
Uche, it comes at a very high cost.
Honestly, I pity those ones who actually stay. Well, in my community, there's a mixture of people who stay in their private homes and people who live in public compounds where there are like so many apartments. And those ones, many times I've been around some of them, and they'll be like, man, this light should not even come back for like some days because they feel like they've spent so much just in the night because now they're using just 1 meter for everyone in that compound.
Oh, that is bad.
They spend as much as 8k per night. So you can imagine these are people who stay in this compound and they wouldn't be staying there if they're earning so much, obviously. So imagine how it will feel for them to be spending as much as 8k per night just to have electricity.
That is bad. For persons that are using prepaid meter, I mean, you pay per use.
But
however, I mean, every time there is no light in the house, just know that your light has finished. It wasn't that it didn't give you light, only if there's a problem with transformer or something, but your light finished. Imagine spending 100,000 naira monthly or weekly. It is a lot of money.
Huge. How much are you earning?
How much are you exactly? How much are you earning for you to be spending that amount of money? I remember when the minister was saying, the Minister of Power was saying something about
off your freezers,
turn off your freezers, turn off your ACs and stuff like that. Well, the truth is that's what everyone is doing right now.
No choice. You have no choice.
No choice. There is nothing like I want to turn on 24 hours of AC. No,
you have no choice.
Well,
the windows, proper ventilation now. Open the windows.
we need fresh air in our houses. It's just something really.
Well, it is what it is, and well, hopefully we'll keep talking, and the right decisions will be made for the Nigerian people and for the Nigerian states, because hey, you are there to serve us and to make the Nigerian lives better. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll be taking a look at the papers we have this morning. Don't go nowhere. It is the newspaper review on our Impact Radio 102.1 FM.
Venue on the Sea. A perfect and top-notch location for your special, social, and corporate occasions. Here at High Impact Cruise, we handle your events with elegance while providing you with outstanding service. An amazing experience you will never forget. For more inquiries, call 0815-181-9580, 0818-824-5734, or visit www.highimpactcruise.com. High Impact Cruise, dream, discover, explore.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM, 16 minutes past 7. In case you are just joining us, believe me, you are right on time. It's time for us to look at the papers on the newspaper review right here on Impact Radio 102.1 FM. We are your urban lifestyle station. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation from any part of the world where you are listening to us or watching us. And I say watching us because, yes, we are streaming live on YouTube at Impact 102.1 FM. We're also streaming live on Facebook at Impact Radio 102.1 FM. We are on X, we're on TikTok, we are also on Instagram at Impact 102.1 FM. That is HI Impact 102.1 FM. Don't forget to subscribe on the YouTube channel and also click the notification button so hey, you can get alerted when something is going on right here in the studio. Okay, so the number for you to reach us at, in case you want to, drop your suggestions, or in case you want to tell us about things happening around your locality or things that caught your interest in the papers this morning, you can call us up on 0700 1021 1021. I take that one more time, 0700 1021 1021, or you can reach us via WhatsApp or your regular text message on 0907 224 5018, 0907 224 5018. Moving straight to The Guardian this morning, and The Guardian leads with this one. Living in Abuja, the making of a capital city of gross inequality, rags, riches. Living in Abuja, the making of a capital city of gross inequality, rags and riches. It has a huge picture of, try to create an image of what it's talking about right here on The Guardian newspaper. And I can fully understand what is going on here because, let's be honest, Abuja, beautiful city, an amazing capital city, but the disparity between the rich and the poor is way too obvious. Like, you can go around, there are rarely any place where you go to in Abuja where there are no shanties, even as much as going close to the Asokoro areas, which are supposed to be the highbrow societies, going close to the Aso Villa, the day area of Abuja. That's about 20 kilometers away from the Aso Villa. You get to see shanty towns around there, and that is because there are no low-income housing in Abuja. You rarely get to see low-income housing. Even the places where you expect, where you will see low-income housing happens to be shanties, happens to be places that most of the estates around there do not want those places to exist there. So at the end of the day, if you keep building, there's this rapid urbanization, and you keep building high houses, and you have a lot of uncompleted, unlived estates where so many estates are empty, uncompleted buildings, and there are no housing for the the low income people, then at the end of the day, you're just only going to build a city where where you get to see people live across under the bridges, because there are going to be low-income people in Abuja. Of course, it's impossible that it's only going to be the high-class persons who are going to be there. Or are the high-class persons going to be the cleaners too? Are they going to be the sweepers? Are they going to be the ones to do the menial jobs? No, these people will always exist in the society. So there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a way whereby there will be low housing for people who can actually afford to stay there. So hey, in case you want to read about this, big story, it is on page 4 and page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. How the making of a capital city of gross inequality, rags and riches. That one is by the Guardian newspaper. So hey, you could go check it out. Beside that story, it says FG gives traders 1 month to crash prices of goods. Okay, FG gives traders 1 month to crash prices of goods. You want to find out about that story, go look at page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. Underneath that one, government increases suburb matching grants to 3.5 billion naira. Government increases suburb matching grants to 3.5 billion naira. It is on page 7. Underneath that particular story, Ajaero vows to fight on, says police invitation mere distraction to labor struggles. Ajaero vows to fight on, says police invitation a mere distraction to labor struggles. That story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Underneath that particular one, doctor strike, FG threatens to invoke no work, no pay rule. Doctor strike, FG threatens to invoke no work, no pay rule. That is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And beside that story, it says over 55,910 civilians killed in Nigeria in 4 years, says report. Over 55,910 civilians killed in Nigeria in 4 years. That is on page 6 of the Guardian. In case you want to find out what report is giving that, you need to go look at that. But 55,000 people, man, that's huge numbers. That is huge numbers. Wow. Above that particular story this morning, we see this one. Foreign inflow down by 57.22% as investors appraise portfolio. Foreign inflow down by 57.22% as investors appraise portfolio. Afe Babalola cautions against 18 years limit for WAEC, NECO. Afe Babalola cautions against 18 years limit for WAEC and NECO. And finally, on the Guardian newspaper this morning, it leads with this one. EKEDC explains disconnection of Unilag after 180 million naira payment. This story is just funny because how would you blame them? You can't be owing $1 billion and you pay 180 million. It's just like you taking a cup of water out of the ocean. Like, man, it's just why we say there needs to be a subsidy on electricity too, in as much as there's one right now in the public health sector that is in public hospitals. So that's the much of the Guardian this morning.
We'll now take a look at what is happening on the Punch newspaper for this morning. And it says presidential fleet, 200 families displaced as NAF demolishes houses. Soldiers deployed in sight. Property owners demand compensation. Federal government keeps mum. You find this on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Above the nameplate, you'd see Governor's Job Bazaar. State wages rise by 900 billion naira. Find this on I like how we put it. Page 20 of the Punch newspaper. Governor's Jobs Bazaar. That's such an interesting title. Anyways, moving on. Tinubu okays 50% electricity subsidy for hospitals and others. We already mentioned that this morning. Page 19. It's a welcome development. NYC bars poly graduates without IT experience. Page 12. I mean, well, okay.
before you say okay, I want to say something really important.
Please
We
go
all
on.
thought the polytechnics used to be, a school whereby it's more of a practical.
Yes, it's a
thing,
place of experience. A
experience, so,
technical school.
So how come they still even need to get to do an IT?
I think it's important.
Yes, I do get the fact. But why I ask that question is this, because they get to do an IT because there is really, really no much practical happening in the polytechnic.
No, I don't agree. No.
I feel so, because let's look at this.
Okay.
It used to be a polytechnic, no longer a polytechnic.
Okay.
But I've been there. I know a lot of students there. I know a lot of courses there.
Okay.
And there are rarely any practicals. It's more like where they just go to do the obvious, go to class, teach, learn, come out. I think there should be some certain subject which is meant to be done in the polytechnics, or some certain courses which is meant to be done in the polytechnics, and there should be more focus on practical learning. More than we get to see mass communication students. I see their courses. I say, especially for mass communication students, I see their courses. I see most of their students. I know a whole lot of them that have not even gone close to a microphone before.
Yeah.
Do you get my point? So what's the practical there? Where are the practicals being done? I even see some of I saw their curriculum, for goodness sake. Wow.
So you know what? So here is the angle that I'm going to take it from. I mean, I get what you're saying now. I mean, when you're talking about the fact that, you know what, it is a polytechnic, and then of course you should be taking practical courses and everything. However, here is the essence of an internship. The essence of an internship is not just for you to come to a space, but however, it's for you to go and learn what is happening in the industry. Do you understand? I mean, you know this for free that I have taken on loads of interns, and day in, day out, while I am having conversations with them, first thing I let them know is, yes, you have learned the theory in school, but this is real world right here. A lot of things that you didn't hear in school, you're going to find out here. A lot of things that you're probably never going to have an idea about, you find out here. This is where you come and put what you have learned to work, and this is where you find out if this is what you want to do or not. Because this is how your mind is open, your eyes is open. A lot of these kids come and they have no idea. I have met, I can tell you for free, I've met over 100 interns, and they have no idea what they wanted to do with their lives. I mean, they learned it in school. Oh, it was glamorous, it looks great, and when they come here, this is when they start to honestly understand what they're doing, have a niche for themselves, and find their own path in life. I mean, every time I check their logbook, it's always there when I'm trying to sign their acceptance letter and any of those things. There's this, we send these students to you so they can get industry-based standard practice. So it means that they send them like an employee, so they can be employed, so they can learn for 3 months or 6 months or 1 year, depending on what it is that you're doing, or your school or whatever, and they can put that in. Now, for polytechnic students, what they do for them is, once you're done with your 2-year, ND, that is their ND1, it's ND2.
ND2, yeah.
When they're done with ND2, they send them on 6 months or 1 year industry practice. So if they decide they want to go back to do HND, they already have some level of understanding. Or some of them now decide that, after ND2, I am going to do direct entry and get into the university. And this is because I must say this, people view polytechnic as a lower cadre of tertiary institution. Yeah. And then the list is the teachers, what's that thing called? College of Education.
College of Education.
It's a way that people, unfortunately, I grew older to understand that was not how it was meant to be categorized. Like each tertiary institution has its own, they have their own role that you're playing in the educational system. It is wherever it is that you can fit, that's where you should go, what you think you should do. However, people see university as a top. Now
then the others
are just like choice 2, especially when you're feeling your jam. But
you have to include that one, yeah.
I just need to say that. Anyways, let me just move on. So this story says NYSC bars poly graduates without IT experience. I think you should get IT experience. I think it is important for your life and your career. Moving on, I will build on foundation laid by Obaseki. stated. This was stated by Igodalo. You can find this on page 12. PDP, APC, others sign peace accord September 12th. You find this on page 7. Now we can see pictures right here on the Punch newspaper. Ajay Rohana's police summons, false terrorism allegation. You find this on page 26. Yes, page 26 of the Punch newspaper. No work, no pay. Threat won't stop strike. Resident doctors are saying this on page 12. Please pay the doctors. Come on. Like we don't need to say too much on this. Buttock enlargement doctor declared wanted as client dies during surgery. You'd find this on page 4 and 5. I have so many things to say, but I'm just gonna move on. So, I have many questions.
Oh man.
Canada ends visitor to work permit policy. Oh my goodness. Page 26.
Very bad
28.
news for so many people.
You see, I didn't. So many jackpot plans have now been trumped on.
No, they have to change their
They
ideas
have to change.
now.
Oh my goodness! But I do have a question.
What's that?
I feel like maybe not a question per se, but some form of statement, because I don't know. It has always been on my mind that how come all of a sudden, and I think this is a foreign affairs kind of conversation. Possibly we're going to have that very soon. How come it is interestingly easy for a lot of countries, to come up with policies that bars this, that bars that, especially for Nigerians, because of course we travel a lot and we're everywhere. Nigerians are everywhere in every country. Name one country, you will find a Nigerian there.
Go to Afghanistan.
You
Someone
will
be
find
there.
a Nigerian there. I can tell you that for free.
Yeah.
Either born there or whatever, or ancestry or whatever, there's a Nigerian there. And I feel like, these things happen. Other countries, there's a ban, there's a bar. I mean, sometimes for good reasons, sometimes for just, I don't know, power tussle or whatever. But then we don't do same. It kind of annoys me. We don't do same. Like, I mean, there was one country, I cannot remember what country it was. I think it was. I'd find it and possibly
An African country, yes?
There was an African country that actually placed a ban.
I think I remember this
on
story.
another country. I think there was so many stories that they were placing ban on their citizens in their country, and they said, you know what, very good, you are doing this, we will do this too. That might not have been the motive, but of course I could smell it from the news that I read, that they were like, you know what, enough is enough. We are also like, we're people, and we have power. We should recognize ourselves as powerful people. So how come there is no, the measures aren't very strict? I see a lot, and it is not a bad thing for us to be friendly and to be open and everything. But I feel sometimes when there is that what's it called now, is like a power struggle. When someone sees that power past power, you respect power.
True. It has to do with what happened with Russia and NATO. We saw that when the whole war with Ukraine started, there was, sanctions on Russia and all of that. And the only way Russia could reply was like, oh, okay, it's no big deal. You sanctioned me. Now, if you want my gas, you can't pay in dollars anymore. You have to pay in Russian rupee. So now you're saying, okay, you don't want us to buy things outside. You also get things from us. Now you pay in our currency. We won't go that way because they have the power to do so. We can't do so because obviously we've not yielded our power enough, and we've not placed ourselves in a position where the world needs us.
So that is what I want to say. Like, somebody, my dad would tell me that always be in a position of power. So even when you don't need it, you are respected.
Yes.
Like, you have to, and it's not for you to be trampling on people. I mean, I understand that, there's
It's just
some
for them to
countries,
respect
but
you
for
and
them
know
to
they can test
respect-
you.
Yes, don't test me because I will show you. Like, always be in a position of power. Like, why are we not in a position of power? France seized our president's jets, 3 of it. Like, come on. I mean, I understand. Like, I mean, of course, I know that there's some other political.
The law. It was the law.
Of course,
we
the law.
faulted.
Yes, I know. But there's some countries that they cannot do that too. I'm just
Well,
saying. But let's
well.
just go on.
Well, we need to place ourselves in position of power. It is what
Yeah,
it is. We
it
have
is.
everything to do that. We have all the resources. We have the human resources. We just need to make ourselves important again. Let the world know they need us more than we need them. Until that happens, we won't hold a card.
We're dependent on so many things.
So
we're
many
dependent
things.
on so many countries. We're dependent on a lot of resources from other places, which makes it very saddening. If that's
It
that's the word.
It
Like
is.
it makes it very saddening because I mean it's like when you're borrowing things. You borrowed hair from somewhere. You borrowed clothes from somewhere. You borrowed shoes from somewhere. The day you attend an event and all these people that you borrowed from are there, you don't have the
Confidence to
no
dance
confidence.
well. How would you
Just-
dance? You want to spoil the shoe?
That's a very good one. I mean, like the kids will say your steez has got no composure.
Nothing, man. Nothing. Moving straight to the Daily Trust, and remember, you can still be a part of the conversation if you call us up on 0700 1021 1021 or send us a WhatsApp or a regular text message on 0907 224 5018. The Daily Trust says Nigerians paid 1.04 billion naira ransom to kidnappers in 1 year. That is according to a report. In case you want to find out what that report is, you need to go look at the Daily Trust newspaper. That is a couple of writers on this story. 1,056 killed, 7,568 abducted in 1,130 incidents. These are huge numbers. Huge numbers. Credible intelligence lacking. That is according to a former IG. Ex-DSS boss wants emergency declared on security. Troops neutralize 1,166 terrorists in 29 days. That's according to the defense headquarters. Underneath that one, we see pictures of a gyro in front of the Labour Party house in Abuja with his lawyer. Well, that's after he went to the police station yesterday to answer calls. So hey, go get the Daily Trust to find out more of that one. I returned $10,000 to please Allah. That's according to airport worker. I returned $10,000 to please Allah. Oh, beautiful soul you are. Beautiful, beautiful soul. That is on page 9 of the Daily Trust this morning. Police interrogation. Wow, I almost bit my tongue on that one. The police interrogation. Labor movement worth dying for. That's according to Ajero. Strike. FG slams no work, no pay policy on resident doctors. So many of the stories are stories which we have seen on other papers. So hey, CBN report warns of rising financial strain for citizens. That story is on page 4 of the Daily Trust this morning, and below the nameplate this morning. Crash food prices in 1 month, federal government tell traders. Beside that one, students seek review of FG's 18-year admission eligibility. And finally, on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, Zamfara residents kill 37 bandits. Well, that's the much we can take on Daily Trust this morning.
All right, moving over to the Vanguard newspaper. Exploitative pricing. Traders get 1 month notice to crash prices. Please, please, please. Thank you. Now, the writer says it can lead to scarcity, business closure, job losses, stakeholders react. Price reduction, a mirage unless insecurity, high transportation costs are reduced. This was stated by the TUC. Rising cost of food items, Catholic bishops task federal government on security of farmers. Now, these are interesting takes, actually. Anyways, just above the nameplate, coronation anniversary. That I'm king doesn't mean everything I was before I was crowned is thrown away. This you would find on page 14 of the Vanguard newspaper. I'm trying to see who stated this. Yeah, okay. Alleged terrorism financing. What NLC president told the police. This was stated by sources. Find this on page 8. Yeah, I mean, another newspaper spoke about, him denying all the allegations of,
The police,
the terrorism and everything. And he says that, he's still going to continue with the war, that nothing is going to phase him. Okay. We like to see, we want to see the dividends of all of this, really. I want to see the results of all of this. I want to see some of these things work. I want to see that what we are fighting for is going to yield into something. Anyways, federal government will liaise with EU to take action against Simon Ekpa. This was stated by DHQ. Now, tension in Kebbi as military personnel shoots DPO dead. Wow.
Infighting.
Wow. Page 6. May his soul rest in peace, but this is sad. Insecurity, 55,910 dead, 21,000 abducted in 4 years, stated by a report. In the world of sports, Osimhen Chelsea transfer deal nearing conclusion. Our fingers are crossed. We want to see how this goes on. I was seeing a breakdown in the news yesterday about, what he's going to be earning and all of that. I'm like, wow.
Football money.
Football money. Wow. But then again, I get it. It's a lot of, there was a time I dedicated months of my time to watch documentaries on football. I mean, I watched a documentary for David Beckham. I watched a lot of documentary on football, and I was looking. I started because I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the sport. I didn't get what was it that made people so fascinated by other human beings running after a ball. Come on, guys! Like I didn't get it. I'm sorry. Don't look at me that way. I was just saying. I kind of get it now, not totally, but But then again, I started seeing the sides of it, the business side to it, the money, and the stress, the emotional trauma, the risk, the hazards. Like you could lose your limbs, and that is it for life. That is a very scary thing to venture yourself into. I mean, all sports actually, all of them. Like
because it takes dedication, your time, your life, completely.
It's just that some are more glamorized than the others, like football, basketball, this American football. I mean, field and track is just popping up, but I don't think it's as glamorized as really. Football. Maybe volleyball, not necessarily, but yes. Tennis is another glamorized sport that, it is a very big deal. Golf is another glamorized sport that is also a very big deal. And when
huge money deal.
When they're talking about deals and money, I'm like, wow, this is huge. And there was one of the documentaries. That this guy was just saying that his life changed forever. Just because of this sport. And just because he decided, he was given the opportunity to be a part of this club, it will never remain the same. He wasn't one of the popular ones, but still, he was like, his life has changed for life. He isn't playing anymore, but he's doing very okay. And I'm like, but then here is always the question that comes to mind, that what happens after the sport? Because you've been playing for 20 years. This is all you know. Now, here's the thing. This is all you know your whole life. However, when you're retiring, you are still young. So it is scary. That's because you're 35. You're the most you can be is possibly in your 37 or 40. And that's because you're in a good shape. But you can never be as swift as the guy that is 16 that is just joining the club.
It's getting younger every single day. Football is getting way younger.
A 14-year-old that is, or a 16-year-old that is very agile. You have the experience, we get it. You have the fame, we get it. But your time is numbered, like already. So what happens to you after? Because I see a lot of people now. That's why I watched the documentary. Anyways, I see people sinking into depression. For those that didn't have business, like they were just so focused on the sports and everything. They didn't have business skills and all of those things. It means that they have to go and learn. One of the reasons why I love watching basketball because I saw the documentary on Michael Jordan. I was like, you know what? Well done, sir.
That dude did well for himself, honestly.
I was like, well done, sir.
You did well for yourself.
But anyways, it's another conversation we'll have some other time.
Oh, definitely. Before we go on a short break and, get our guest in-house so we can talk about some of the stories we have. We've got a couple of messages here. A really long one from John Amodi. It says, good morning, our Impact Radio. My name is John Amodi from Simawa, Ogun State. On the federal government applying no work, no pay to striking resident doctor, that is not the best way to resolve issues. Rather, they should use diplomatic dialogue. Went on to say the politicians are not doing anything and they are being paid. Why not they apply the same policy to themselves, that their payments should be on performance? On an NLC president supported by labor leaders, which in turn frustrated the police from actualizing their proposed plan. If Nigerians can be united and fight for the right of the common masses, the country will be a better place to live. And protesters will not suffer in police custody for years. If I may ask, what happened to the end hunger protesters under police custody now? No one knows, and they will end up being there for years. The country is full of errors masterminded by our corrupt politicians. God will definitely change this country for good. A smashing morning, high impact. Honestly, I'm not a fan of indiscriminate industrial action by various unions in the country because it does not harm. It does more harm than good. The government should do all it can to end not just the resident doctor strike, but subsequent ones in the future, while doctors and other health workers should understand that lives lost to these strikes are never brought back, even after they have been won, even after they may have won their struggle with the government in the long run. God bless Nigeria. This one is from Joseph Eyo from Lambert. Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be diving into the main stories.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information, call
0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931.
Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Venue on the Sea. A perfect and top-notch location for your special social and corporate occasions. Here at High Impact Cruise, we handle your events with elegance while providing you with outstanding service. An amazing experience you will never forget. For more inquiries, call 0815-181-9580, 0818-824-5734, or visit www.highimpactcruise.com. High Impact Cruise, dream, discover, explore.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. In case you are just joining us, you have really missed a lot because we've looked at the papers. But now it's time for us to, move to the second half of the show where we get to talk to our analyst. He is a socio-political analyst in the person of Dr. Adedayo Kayode. Good morning to you, sir.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. I do hope you're having a fine morning so far.
Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're doing okay.
Friday.
Yes, thank God it's Friday.
Really, thank God it's Friday. I'm going to move straight into it because, hey, time is really fast spent, so we're going to be as sharp as we can. We've seen in the news this morning, we've seen about, they're talking about ransoms that have been paid as much as 1 billion naira in a year. We've seen so many stories as much as 55,000 people killed in 4 years. We've seen as much as 1,000 people killed just in a year. I'm linking this story because of insecurity and how dangerous banditry and all of that has been in the country so far. But I'm linking this story in aspect to the resident doctor strike, which is happening right now. We know the strike is going on because of a kidnap of a doctor in Kaduna who has stayed 8 months there in person of Dr. Pupola, which is why the resident doctors went on strike. And that is because of insecurity in the country. For the government now to be threatening the resident doctors to say there will be a no work, no pay action if they keep going on the strike. What is your reaction to this story?
Yes. I'm going to react the way I've been reacting to these issues in time past. Okay? All the problems that we are facing in this country is nothing other than connivance of the leadership against the people. And I will explain. Look at this insecurity. Because when I'm talking about leadership, please note this. It's inclusive of political, religious, traditional, economic, and all those people up there. Let us take traditional. Are you aware that sometimes ago in this country, I think about 2 years ago, a particular leader, traditional leader, to ban a known leader of a terrorist group, and he came there with nothing less than 200 motorcycles, and each of them was carrying about 2 or 3 people. So you cannot imagine how many people that he went there with. And that report also stated that attending that Obani were some security
forces
there. So what are we talking about? It is nothing other than weaponizing security and poverty on the people, so that everybody will not be able to accost them as regards bad leadership. Nothing other than that. Now listen again. Are you also aware that there was a report that aircraft, don't let me mention the name of the owners of the aircraft because it was mentioned. Aircraft, we were seeing aircraft dropping food, petrol and all that to some terrorists in the forest. Is it you or I that can control such an aircraft?
Not at all.
So you cannot see what I mean. I mean what I meant by connivance of the leadership against the people. See how people are now being hungry. What have they done? And see how much money they have been using to settle these terrorists. And who is now saying that some of them are not the ones sponsoring these terrorists? Go to some of those villages whereby all of them are abdicated to the IDP camps, and then see the quantum of mineral resources that reports are being given that are being taken out of such communities. Is it you or I that can do that? Not at all, like you said, not at all. So what are you talking about? It's not until when the people decide to take the bull by the horn and face these people scarcely, headlong, this thing will continue to persist in our society. Are you also aware that just one American was kidnapped in Niger Republic and brought out to Nigeria? And the president then said that person must be taken away from the terror within 24 hours. And what happened? All the way from America, the instruction was given, and under 24 hours, 12 hours, that person was released. So what are you talking about? It is nothing other than leadership inflicted problem on our nation. That is just it.
No, really sad one, and that is why the point of the resident doctors now being threatened with a no work, no pay, which is obviously the fault of the federal government, because they are protesting because their own person is being still under detention in kidnap places for 8 months now. And so for the government saying a no work, no pay policy, it's a really sad one. But I want us to move to something else right quick on this one.
Sorry, let me quickly address that in 1 minute.
Okay.
Don't you think the leadership will be happy? They don't want good health facility for us now. So even if the doctors are on strike, what's their business? They don't patronize them. Akpabio the other time had a small accident in Abuja. He said he was not having a headache. What did he do? That's why the hospital he said he built in his own state.
Yes.
If he traveled abroad to go and treat ordinary headache, it's appalling.
Okay.
It's appalling. But one day, baboon will go market. He no go come back.
Okay. I want to move straight to this one as quick as we can. Let's just try to touch this 2 minutes as much as we can. The Nigerian federal government has spoken about, crashing of food prices. They say they want to that the marketers, that we clamp down on those ones who have high prices of food. But we know for a fact that insecurity is plaguing the nation, which is one of the reasons why food prices are high. This same federal government made a plan and says 180 days there will be a free import blah 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 that would help to reduce food prices, which at day 50, I think today is day 50, has not started yet in the port. So do they have any moral rights to say they want to go clamp down on marketers to say because they are the ones increasing food prices?
You see, let me also give you this scenario. Day before yesterday, this wheelbarrow pushers that sells yam was passing by, and I told my friend, let us price this yam again. Maybe the price has fallen. 1 tuber of yam, that guy could not sell for less than 3,000. 1 tuber of yam, medium size. And I told my friend, it's not the fault of this guy, because the leadership had collected their own money on that tuber of yam from source. You know how?
How, sir?
Because one, they will transport that. They will have transport that yam from one place to the other, and that transportation is also the cost of transportation is also dependent on the cost of fuel or diesel that was used to transport that yam. So where will that truck pusher put that cost? That's number one. Number two, that truck pusher too will not be eating yam alone. He must have accommodation. He must buy other food stuff to eat. He must have money for help in case. He will definitely send his children also to school, and all those things too. The leadership have collected their money from source. So where do you put it? Now tell me, if you say you want to crash it, is that how to crash it? Is that imported? No. Not until when the government is ready to ensure that people live meaningfully, nothing can be done. And how are they supposed to do that? Two things. Government controls tariff for electricity. Government controls how much they sell petrol or diesel at the pump. So let them control those two. Don't let them bamboozle us. All these things are just deceitful propaganda. Not until when they decide to crash the prices of petroleum products and electricity, nothing can happen. And that is why I think I told you along the line that I have started advocating for ideological democracy rather than this kind of palliative and deceitful type of government. The moment they are able to do that, my brother, you will see that there will be very great respite for Nigeria to live accordingly.
Okay, sir, that's a very fine place for us to leave it this morning. Thank you so much, Dr. Dayo Kayode, for joining us this morning and sharing your insights on the things happening in Nigeria.
It's my pleasure being with you. Thanks for always having me, and I wish you a great weekend ahead.
You too, sir. Have a beautiful weekend ahead.
Bye.
Bye, sir. Well, that's a perfect way for us to leave it this Friday morning right here on Our Impact Radio 102.1 FM. So many things happening in the country, so many situations. Food prices are still very high. Fuel, there is no fuel. All the filling stations are empty. Like most of them that are opened, people are so much there. The kegs are lined up. If you even calculate the kegs, they are way more than the human beings that are there. Crazy things are happening, and I think the government needs to be intentional in wanting to help Nigerians. These are not the times for Nigerians to be going through the situation they are going through. There should be constant fuel. Electricity is way too high. We spoke about that starting the show this morning. It's way too high, too expensive to use. And when the common man cannot afford electricity, cannot afford food, then what is there for the common man to do? What is really there for the common man to do? I want to say a very big thank you for everyone who opened their ears to us this beautiful Friday morning. Thank you so much. Today happens to be the 30th day of August, which means this is the last edition of the newspaper review for this month. I'll be in your ears again bright and early on Monday morning, 5 minutes past 7, which will happen to be 1st of September or 2nd of September, I guess. So hey, I can't wait to see you in the new month. I can't wait to talk to you in the new month. But before all of that, have a beautiful weekend. Remember, we'll be in your ears tomorrow to give you a recap of all of the major stories that happened this week. So hey, hang us with us tomorrow to get all of that. But before then, my name is Uche Okovie. Have yourself a lovely weekend.
And my name is Omo Bolade. The Morning Impact Show continues. Don't go anywhere.
Money time, if you not play, now you lose. But if you not come win today, you fit win tomorrow. Yes, so this na high cash flash where you fit win a wolf money bracket. Just dial *347*972